You're listening to the Mental Money Podcast, the show that shows you how to master your mind to maximize your money. This show is for people who love to watch their bank accounts grow while shifting their relationship to money. Without further ado, let's get these insider insights from today's leading expert. And we're recording. Hi, Anthony. Thank you so much for taking the time to sit and speak with me about publishing.
Well, thank you, first of all, for having me. I'm really excited about this conversation.
Good. So this podcast, as I told you off air, is dedicated to individuals who are trying to strategically transition from being employees to entrepreneurs. Their hope is that they will be able to become full-time independent entrepreneurs and no longer have to rely on their gainful employment for their livelihood. So my objective is to help facilitate that by having guests like yourself.
Okay. I love it. Well, what I would say, because I did it 7 years ago, full time, is that start now and dedicate either, if you're a morning person, wake up an hour earlier. If you're a night person, stay up an hour later and start doing it now. And use the current job that you have, that paycheck, that consistent money coming in. Use that as an investment into your business so that you can grow your business and generate your revenue. And also, I would say write down your must-have expenses, whether it's, car, house, mortgage, rent, whatever, and slowly see how much you can duplicate on the side to see if what you're trying to do even makes sense to jump out there and do that. Because the worst thing to do is jump out there and not have the resources to sustain yourself and then have to go back or either have to take a big L, unless you're a risk taker, right? And some people are okay with that. But if you're not the kind of person that likes being in limbo, use your current situation to build your future situation.
Right. No, that's very fair advice. One of the premises of this podcast is to actually kind of leverage where you are to where you want to be. So that falls very much
100.
in line. Yeah, very much in line with what we talk about on a regular. So thank you for that. When you were starting your business, what were some sacrifices that you had to make in order for you to let me backtrack. Were you a risk taker when you first started your business?
So I did it the wrong way first.
Okay. Okay.
Well, I won't say wrong. I won't say wrong because I learned and I am who I am today. But I did it the riskier way. And I really didn't have any sort of plan at all. I was doing some things on the side. I was making a little money here and there. I had money in my bank account, and I just said, you know what? I'm done. 2-week notice, right? And it was based on, I didn't like my current situation. I had shifted my mindset to thinking that my life would be better if I didn't have to go to work and I made my own money, right? As opposed to shifting my mindset to be to gratitude. In other words, I'm grateful for what I have now, and I want to build something else.
Right.
What happens is we get restless. We get restless because we're looking at the future we want. But if you can just shift that a little bit to say, I'm thankful for what I have now, and I see what I want, and I'm going to systematically go for that, then do it. But I just jumped out there. Went to broadcasting school, and I was working corporate America. So my degree and my background is in computer information systems, and I did that for 20 years, corporate America. But at the same time, I always had something on the side. So I was doing nightclub promoting. I was always been like a tech nerd, so I would always look into the analytics of things. So I started doing restaurant marketing and small business marketing. Then I opened a web design company because I'm a creative. So I started first doing, illustrations and logos. Then I moved up to websites. Then I didn't love it, and I didn't systematize it for a while. And then finally I sold that company. I was more of a risk taker, and I bounced around. Then I finally said, you know what, I'm going to go all in. And then I went all in on one thing, mastered it, got bored with it, and I've been doing that ever since. Finding something, learning it, mastering it, and then transitioning to the next thing. So I'm forever a work in progress, but I love where I am, and I'm able to, be comfortable now and provide the life for my family and all that beautiful stuff that comes with entrepreneurship.
Right.
And the best part is time and location freedom. But again, in the beginning, determine what type of person you are. Are you a risk taker? Are you going to put other people at risk? That's big, right? Because if you don't have kids, then you're like, okay, I can do this because it's just me. But if you got a wife and a husband or whatever, significant other, now you're going to have to depend on their money. And they might be cool with it in the beginning, but 3 months in, they're like, okay, so what are we doing here?
Right.
Right.
So you said you had an 8-year-old daughter and you started 7 years ago. So that was on the line then.
Yep. It
was
absolutely was.
And what was that dynamic like at the time?
So because I had already started doing things on the side and I understood the value that I had, and I already had customers, right? So for me, it was just a matter of going bigger.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So in other words, I knew how much money I could make already. I already had customers. I had people lined up that wanted to work with me. And I was literally battling between, I don't have time to help all my personal customers because I got to go to this job.
Okay.
Right? So it was an easier transition. But that was after jumping out there many moons ago and getting it, I won't say wrong, but doing it the other way. And I ended up having to go back to work, which made it worse.
Because now you've already had a taste of that freedom.
Correct. Exactly. Yeah. That's a brilliant way to say that. I love that. You're right. Absolutely right.
Yeah. It's interesting because okay, let me backtrack. That's something that I tell my clients very often because I don't want them to have a taste of the freedom and then they don't transition to entrepreneurship strategically and then you end up having to go back to work because you didn't plan it out appropriately. Not that that's a bad thing. It's just a milestone in the whole picture, but I don't know. I appreciate you for saying that because I don't want them to just think I'm saying that because I'm saying it. You know what I mean?
No, yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Sometimes they just look at me like, okay, yeah, Nat, you've been there, you've done that. Yeah. Okay. But I'm like, no.
Right.
Let's plan this out so we don't have to go back. We don't backtrack at all at any point. So yeah, thank you for sharing that. I really appreciate that. And I didn't coach him. I didn't tell him anything. He's volunteering this information. Okay.
100.
So yeah. All right. So let's segue a little bit to publishing because one facet of owning a business or being a business owner / personal branding is to write a book and to publish it, right? Nowadays, I've spoken to several different people, ghostwriters, editors, publishers, and one thing that they've all told me is don't worry about book sales. You're not really selling books to make money unless you're Beyonce or something. Or Michelle Obama. You leverage the content of your book to one either build authority or to gain speaking engagements. How do you feel about those comments?
I would agree to most of it.
Okay.
Right. I think that the first thing you want to make sure of is, is the story that you're going to tell, if it's a memoir, is the direction that you're going to provide, if it's a how-to, is the poetry that you're going to share, if it's a poetry book, there's so many different types, is the nonfiction story that you want to tell, what is your reason for doing it, right? Because some people just literally want to check it off their bucket list. I have so many people that are like, I just want to get it off. Had this idea for 10 years and I just want to do it.
Right.
So that's one category of a person, right? They don't necessarily want authority. They just want to get it done. Then there's a second person that I'll reference that you mentioned. It's the authority thing. I use one of my books rather, for authority in publishing, right? I literally give it away for free.
Right.
Right. Anybody listening, if you go to ajsfreebook.com, I give you the blueprint on how to write and publish your book. Right. And I have several people, and I've given away thousands and thousands of books over the last, I think I wrote it 4 years ago or something like that. I've given away thousands of books. Right. And out of those thousand, I would say 30% of those people end up hitting me up on Instagram like, hey, I read your book and I got started, but I need your help. Right. Okay. So that is the positioning thing. Okay. Right. So it's positioning myself as an authority, but then it also opens up people like, hey, I end up on podcasts. I end up on radio show. Like I'm on a syndicated radio show. We reach 1 million people a show. Radio One, all this stuff that happened from not positioning myself as an authority in book writing, But that was as an authority in entrepreneurship. But the book writing thing really helps because that gives me a focused market of people that want to write and publish books, and I know I can help them.
Got you.
Right? So, yes, your book sales, like when people get stuck on book sales, I'm literally like halfway listening to them at that point. Because if nobody knows who you are, nobody's going to buy your book.
Right.
Your cousin them might buy it, your auntie, your close circle, right? But if people know the problem you're solving, now they buy your book, right? So you have to write it thinking about the reader. And again, the default thing to be is self-referential, where you're like, oh, I went through this, I went through that, I struggled through this. I survived domestic abuse. I survived being a drug addict. I survived cancer. I'm a cancer survivor too, right? But if I wrote a book on cancer, I wouldn't write it about how AJ survived cancer. I would write it about, if you're diagnosed with cancer, here are some of the things that you need to look out for. Then I would tell my story. I would say, well, when I was first diagnosed, they told me not to Google it and da-da-da-da. And you know what the first thing I did is I Googled it, blah, 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 blah.
Right.
So I would write it from the premise of how can I help the reader? And that's how you position yourself. And then it doesn't matter what it is, you can then make money. So I have a $15,000 client that they're like, and these are celebrity people. They're like, we just want you to write it, interview us a couple of times and write the book, right? $15,000. I have $1,000 people that are like, hey, we want to come to your workshop. I have, $2,000 people that are like, hey, we want this, with a little bit of coaching, but we still want to do the workshop. I've created online courses. So people are like, hey, I just want to buy the online course. I have, you know what I mean? So I built the thing. The book is the lead generator. And then I built all the other things to sell them.
Got you. Do you know who Russell Brunson is?
I absolutely know who Russell Brunson is.
Okay. I feel like that's the model that he uses, no?
It 100% is. It's a model it's a model that goes back to the beginning of like when you think about Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich, and what was Hemingway? I think it was Earl Nightingale. Earl Nightingale. Yep, that's their whole premise. It's you get up and you teach people things, and then you sell them things, right? It's right. It's again. That's what the world is built around. Like the whole educational system is like they're teaching you all this stuff to prepare you for the future to go work so that they can make money off your labor. Right? So you get 12 years of school for free to prepare you to go work so that they can make money off of you.
Okay, thank you for that revelation.
And they're making money off you the whole time.
Yeah,
think about it.
Yeah, no, for sure.
And so then you build you're in the system to become part of the system. So when I give people my book, I'm just putting them into AJ's world. So then they go follow me on social media, and they're like, oh, my God, he said the exact question that I was thinking in my mind. Why do I say the exact question that you were thinking in your mind? Because I've helped other people like you that have asked the same questions. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So my posts, if you follow at The Publishing King or at AJ Joyner and you look at my videos and my posts and all that stuff, it's literally, I have a DM. My direct message box is completely full. The one that you can see and the one you can't see. My Facebook page, the inbox is completely full of people asking me questions. AJ, I'm stuck. I have my table of content before and blah, blah, blah. And I can literally talk to them for 3 minutes and they're ready to buy something because I know what they're thinking already because I've been, you know what I'm saying? It's like, and they feel like I'm reading their mind, but I'm not reading your mind. I know the market and I know the questions that are going to come up next.
Right.
Right before our call, I had another person she's interested in flying me up to Ohio. She's like, I've been working on this for 10 years, AJ, and I feel like I just need clarity because I don't know what I'm going to do after the book because I need to monetize, blah, 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 blah. I've been working for 10 years. And I was like, okay, so let's do this. Let's publish the book first. So then you're done. Because as long as you keep thinking beyond what you're doing now, then you won't take the steps to do the thing that you're doing in front of you. So do the first thing first. Like the old Haitian saying is, beyond mountains are more mountains. The thing is, like, once you finish the thing in front of you, you're going to have new things in front of you.
Yep.
So it's never going to stop. So for you or the people who are thinking about writing a book or building a platform or whatever that is, do the first thing first. Write the book. right? I've done political strategies, and I'm one of the only people in the world that can say, for the last mayoral election in Atlanta, I worked with 3 of the top clients and it did their marketing strategy, including Keisha Lance Bottoms, right? But we can't be the mayor until we win the election.
Yeah.
Right? So, and you can't win the election unless you know what the issues are.
Right.
And you can't know what the issues are unless you talk to the people.
Right.
Or listen to the people. Right? So there's a systematic roadmap to get you there. And I'm going to plug my book. You can go to ajsfreebook.com and get the book for free. But you got to do the first thing first. Like, in order for this podcast to happen, we had to get on the phone first. Or,
right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Right. So think about it like this. When you know how to drive a car, then it's very simple to tell somebody, hey, I'm going to teach my kid how to drive a car. And you're like, so how do you drive? And you're like, oh, you just get in and you drive.
Right.
And you're like, and they're looking at you like, not really. So then you're like, oh, you know what? There are steps. First, you have to walk out to the car and make sure there's nothing behind it or around it so that, you know, your coast is clear or whatever. Then you get in the car, you open the door, then you stick your right foot in and stick your left foot in. You get in, then you put on your seatbelt, put your key in the ignition, you turn it. Like, you give it step by step. Check your rear view. You know what I mean?
Right.
So whatever it is that you're doing right now on social media, start breaking down the step by step and start helping people with that before you write your book to see how many people are interested in it.
Right.
So when I work with other clients, and I work with a lot of finger quote celebrity type people, and the first thing they want to say is, well, I'm a celebrity, so, you know, people are going to buy whatever, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, not really. Because some people will, right? But you're not going to penetrate the market like that. What you have to do is show people that you can solve their problems, not just that you're cute. Like, that's the other thing. I have clients that are like attractive women, and they feel like every picture they put up needs to be a Photoshop perfect picture, where I'm like, no, that's not how you build connection. You build connection like Cardi B.
Right.
You know
the
what I'm saying?
Authentic model.
The authentic model, right? That's how you build a tribe. Right? Now, you can do the Beyonce thing, but Beyonce is Beyonce. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
She had to do all the years of work and blah, blah, blah. And that's the Beyonce / Kardashian, whatever. But you want to build real connection with people so that they know beyond a shadow of a doubt that you can help them solve their problem. So it's bigger than the book.
I agree. I'm just trying to wrap my head around. I mean, you made it seem like it's so simple. Because, and I'm not assuming it's not, but like for someone like me who's been holding on to a book for the last year, like it doesn't feel that simple.
You want me to give you step by step?
I don't, and that's the thing. Like I'm not one of those people that need to be spoon fed either. You know what I mean? But like,
I can do it really quickly.
Okay, go ahead, shoot.
Okay. Tell me what your book is about.
Credit. Because I own a credit repair company. So I'm trying to leverage my expertise and strategy in credit and help other people improve their credit.
I've taken a credit repair person from broke to making $35,000 a month in 8 months. Yeah.
Well,
okay. So, but let me show you how to do it.
Okay, I'm listening.
Okay. Right now, people are struggling with their credit, right?
Yes.
What are they struggling with? You tell me.
In my opinion?
Yep.
The behavioral elements behind actually sustaining a positive credit score.
What else?
Increased income.
What else?
Delayed gratification.
What else?
Trying to decipher between a want and a need.
Okay. So take all of those ideas that you just gave and structure them hierarchically or either prioritize them, which one goes first. Right?
Right.
Then you take each one. So you're saying struggling. Let's say people live beyond their means.
Right.
Okay. So there are some sub elements that cause people to live beyond their means. Right. It's not knowing exactly how much you bring home. It's going to the movies versus subscribing to Netflix.
Right.
It's eating out during lunch and spending $7 a day on lunch versus spending $25 of groceries and making that last for a week. Right. So take those subtopics now and then break those down even more, right? Then for you, I would start doing videos right now every single Tuesday and call it Credit Tip Tuesday. And you just do a video about one of those credit tips. Then you take the same video, transcribe it, turn it into like a long form post, and then post that on Instagram. Look at my Instagram. That's exactly what I'm doing.
Yeah, that's what you
I have
do.
a team.
Yeah.
I have a team though, right?
Right.
And then you put that on there. And then you do a video, and then you have someone that you work with, like somebody's going to ask you a question, and you take their question and say, hey, I got this question from AJ. AJ, here's what you do for your credit, blah, 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 blah. Oh, by the way, if you need my help, you can go get my book for free over here. But I also, if you really want to just get me to do it, sign up here and let's jump on a 15-minute call together so I can talk about your specific situation. People jump on a call with you. You listen to them for 10 minutes because you already know all the answers to everything, but you want to let them talk about it, right? Then you say, okay, so here's what we can do. I have these 3 different ways that I can help you. I can help you for $99 a month, and that's you pay $99 a month, and in 90 days, your credit score will be better. Or you can do one payment of, whatever, and it's going to be, you know what I mean? You show them how you can help them, and you show them the result that they're going to get based on the fear that they have, because people are just paying you to make the real pain. Like, nobody wants good credit. People don't give a damn about credit.
Right.
People want to buy stuff.
Wow. Okay.
Right?
Right.
Nobody wants a hammer and a nail. People want to hang a picture, right? So you're like, what you really want is you want to buy this house, but you don't want your interest rate to be crazy. Or you want to get a new car because you're tired of driving this hoopty, but you don't want to pay 25% at a buy here, pay here. So if you work with me in 90 days, we'll make sure you get the car that you want.
Okay.
But in order to do that, you got to do X, Y, Z, right?
Right.
Or you create a program with all those questions in it, in a video program, and you go to thinkific.com, get a free account over there. You put all your videos inside Thinkific, and you talk to people every day about it. And you say, oh, if you guys want to just get the whole course, you can get it for $69. Go to thinkific.com. Then in Thinkific, after they take the course, you're like, oh, here's the other, you can also work with me for $99 a month. You know what I mean? Like, you create tiers.
Right. Have you read Jab, 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 Right Hook?
Yeah. I started reading Gary Vee, like, literally when the first book came out. When it first came out, I bought the paperback version. I'm 46. How old are you, if you don't mind me asking? I think I'm a little bit older.
30.
Oh, yeah. I'm old enough to be your big brother, big uncle.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I started reading Gary Vee before he was popular.
Okay. And the reason why I ask is because the first part of what you suggested as far as creating content, inundating your consumers with content, then repurposing it into like a book or whatever was something that he suggested as well. And I wanted to know if you borrowed that from him.
Exactly. I mean, yeah, it's the same. It's the concept of proving, of like, you're proving yourself to people.
Okay.
Right. So now I have enough content out. Like, here's the path that people take when they follow me and they want to write a book. They'll follow me and I'll see them follow me. Then I'll see them like maybe 3 or 4 posts. Then I'll see them like maybe a video or 2. And then I'll get a DM like, hey, I was listening to your stuff or whatever. I've been thinking about this book for a couple of years and I'm not quite sure what to do next. And I'm like, okay, or either me or my team, they'll send them a link. And the link is like, okay, let's jump on a 15-minute call. Then I jump on a 15-minute call. Then they either buy in at $15,000, $10,000, $1,000, $1,500, $3,500, $1,000, $990. What's the other one? $497, $300, or $99 a month, or $49 a month. I got every level. How much money you got, and how much convenience do you want?
So, if I'm understanding this correctly, it's not really even just about the book as much as it is marketing yourself.
Bingo.
Okay.
And it's not even about marketing yourself. It's about marketing the problem that you're solving.
Right. That was like literally you took the words out of my mouth. So you are, and you know what? I'm happy you're saying this because I never thought about, I do this in my conversations with people. Like, I'm addressing their pain points and how my program or how my service is going to solve that for them. But I never thought to structure that in a book. But yeah, it's okay. It is just that simple. You got it.
Yep. Yep.
Okay.
The book again. So again, the problem you're solving is you help people buy the car or house that they want at a rate that's going to make them happy.
Right. Right.
Like you don't do credit repair. You help people get into cars and houses
Right.
of their dreams.
Right. Hmm.
So I would even change the language. Like when I'm on being interviewed on, like typically I just say I help people tell their story because the large majority of my audience are women, and what I'm finding is the majority of women just want to write a memoir and tell their story. Now
Right.
I'll get people like you who want to become, an expert or a thought leader or an influencer in a certain
Mhm.
industry.
Mhm.
That's a different thing. But I get way more women who just want to talk about how they survived divorce or you know what I mean,
Domestic
like whatever that
abuse or
thing is,
whatever. Yeah.
domestic abuse or whatever, right? So I know that for a fact. So when I'm talking to a large audience, I say everybody's story deserves to be told, and I can help you do that.
Mm.
So that way, because I help people launch podcasts. I've helped people launch, TV shows. I've helped people do retreats. I help them do whatever, right? But whatever it is, like I'm helping them go bigger. Whether it's tell your story, whether it's launch this or launch that, or do a podcast, or retreat, or get on TV, or do whatever, right? So I talk about the ultimate end goal. Like writing a book for most people is just the beginning. They want to be heard.
Right. Right. Wow. You know what's interesting?
Yeah.
So I attended
Okay.
a workshop like last month sometime, and it was an amazing workshop. And if you ever have a chance to get to New York, it's called Momentum Education, and it pretty much is a weekend of dragging you emotionally, so it can kind of unravel like all the things that have been limiting you emotionally. You know what I mean, or like in your life or your successes. And the one thing that I learned was that I wanted to connect with other people. And I didn't know that until after the workshop. But hearing you say that these women just want to have their voices heard, that insight that you have, right? Where did you
Hmm.
get that insight from? Because that's not a normal that's not normal sight. There has to be something that you see that most people don't see. So what how can you like sift through that when you're dealing with people face to face?
So I did like a 2.5 year deep dive on the psychology of human behavior.
Okay.
And what I realized is we have basic, it's called the Maslow's hierarchy of human needs,
Yeah.
right? So the first need that we really have as human beings is shelter and food
Right.
and safety, right?
Right.
Once you have that, then you're like, okay, now that I'm good, let me make sure my family is good,
Mm.
right? Then once the family is good, then it's like, okay, let me look at the community. And the higher you go up the ladder, the more you start to look outward. But when you reach the top of the ladder, you're typically like, okay, now I want to help people through what I've been through.
Self
Or I want
actualization.
to share this message or something like a preacher, right? So the preacher, every human beings all go through the same like arc. We're all have the same archetype. And here's what I mean. Every superhero starts out with something wrong, or
Mm.
they get bit, or they get, you know what I mean? Something they get picked on, or they're weird, or whatever. Then they discover this power that they have. Then they're clumsy with it, and they're learning it, and woo woo woo. And then ultimately they're like, okay, now I can go save humanity,
Mm.
right? So it's once you understand what your power is, and your power always comes from pain,
Mm.
right? So people, and that's the other thing, right? Everybody wants the easy way, but really it's the hard way that makes you. The only way that you can really help people with credit is if you experience bad credit and you know that there's another side to it,
Right, right, right.
or you know that someone has had bad credit and you can help them get to the other side. So it's the pain that makes like you can't really enjoy sunshine if you've never experienced rain. And I know that's cliche, but it's the truth, right? So, when you get up and work out, you're working out because you want the muscle to get stronger or whatever, but the muscle won't get stronger unless you lift weight heavier than you've ever lifted.
Do you think that you've reached self actualization?
In certain areas, but again, behind mountains are more mountains, right? So once
Mm.
you and I constantly introduce chaos intentionally,
Mm.
right? And here's what I mean. So now I want to go learn jujitsu because I'm like, I know what I know. What don't I know that I can learn that'll make me better?
Gotcha.
Because that's how you keep your brain kind of on point.
Right. Wow, that's amazing. Wow.
Winning is boring. Like, and I know that's super
Yeah.
cliche, but it's the actual journey to the win that's like the real thing.
Right.
Like the work, you know what I'm saying? Like it's the podcast that we're on and we're talking to each other is the culmination of all the planning that you've been doing for all this time to offer your audience insight and access to different people that they may not be able to reach. Right? So your podcast journey is like the fun is in you get to make cool relationships with dope people and grow your network and your brand by offering access to different people. You're doing the work for other people, but as a result, you're climbing.
Wow. Anthony, where have you been my entire life, sir?
That's funny.
No, for real.
So yeah, but by you doing this, like you're literally building your credibility, and it doesn't matter. Like you have to think about, people are like Joe Rogan has had 1 billion downloads, and he's going to make $200 million on his podcast. He did it for 4 years before people even listened to it.
True. Yeah.
Right. So I work with a lot of people, and they're like, AJ, I wrote a book and I tried to sell it, and it's been 2 months now and I haven't sold it. I'm like, 2 months, kiss my ass. You know what I'm saying? Like 2 years, 3 years, 10 years.
Right.
Like the book Who Moved My Cheese was a flop.
Oh my gosh.
It was a flop on a lot of different levels. And then finally, he introduced it at a business conference to the right people. And then all of a sudden the HR people were like, hey, we can get this book to our company. And then it became a hit. Right. So again, you're doing the work right now. You are doing the work right now for other people. But now, like, I know who you are. You have my number. Like, you can text me. You have access to me. You know what I mean? Like, you have new relationships by doing work for other people. It's all about serving other people.
Right. Right. No, I get that. Thank you for that insight.
No, yeah, that's what we're here for, man.
Yeah, because I don't meet very many people who had that sight. You know what I mean? So I just wanted to,
well, thank you.
Yeah, of course. Well, one, acknowledge it, and then two, I wanted to know where it came from. So thank you. Talk to me a little bit about publishing. Are you against self-publishing at all?
I'm for self-publishing more than I'm for going through a publisher.
Okay.
Because I've helped clients do both. I've been the lead project manager on some huge ghostwriting projects of people that we all know.
Okay.
But I'm under, I can't say who it was, right?
Yeah.
But the point is, unless you have a big, gigantic following, like going through a publisher just gives you the ability to say, oh, I was published to XYZ. But believe you me, the people that I know who've gone through publishers, the publishing company is in it for the publishing company. They don't give a damn about you. They're in it for the money that they're going to make off of you, because most of them aren't going to give you a marketing strategy or any, like they may give you some connects, but they're not going to do any marketing for you. Most the people that I worked with when I used to do that, the actual like random offered me a job. They were like, can you come in and run our marketing department? I don't know if I shared with you, but I ran a digital marketing agency for 5 years. They asked me to come work with them in partnership.
Got you.
Because they don't know marketing. They don't know it like that. Right. So I would say self-publish because you get more control.
Should someone start a publishing company in order to do that, or just like buy an ISB number and go from there?
Yeah, just do your own thing. Like do it yourself. Again, that's AJ's advice after helping people do this for a while now.
Right.
But again, it's all on where you're comfortable, right? But yeah, I'm 100% self-published.
Gotcha.
That's what I believe in.
How many books do you have right now?
I think I have 5 published. So I just got the final draft back so I have maybe 5 or 6 published.
Okay.
I have 2 in the works. One is on, like I said, it's the psychology of human behavior. And then the one that I just finished is an anthology.
Interesting. So
what is that? 6, between 5 and 8.
That's why I asked.
Yeah, somewhere in between that.
I know what I saw online, but I know there's always 2 or 3 in the cut hiding somewhere.
Right. Yeah. Because I'm always like a work in progress. So yeah.
What would you say is your favorite book that you've written?
I think it's called Expert.
Okay.
And it's basically sharing how to do exactly what I told you to do. How to take your expertise and build money around it. The one that I'm so this is the final name for mine, the anthology. It's called Just One Chapter, a collection of short stories that will have you inspired AF.
That's good.
Right, so it's a collection of short inspirational stories.
I like that. How important is something like a book cover or book title or subtitle? Like, how important are those elements?
It's very important. I mean, again, people do judge a book by its cover.
Right.
Right. I can't tell you. Even one of my customers now, she went and did her book cover on Canva, and it looks terrible.
Ooh.
Right. And
That's
I'm
not
like,
what I was that's not what I thought you were gonna say.
No, I mean, but again, let plumbers plumb, right? If you're not a designer, you're not a designer. Canva can make it easier, but you have to choose fonts that aren't going to disappear in the pictures, right? And, people want these scripty fonts and whatever, but there are, you want people to be able to see your book when they walk by it, or because people will judge it, right? But again, it's about positioning too, because my book that I give away the most, I don't even love the cover, but it's so effective that I don't even, you know what I'm saying? And if you go to ajsfreebook.com, you'll see the cover. But I don't love it, but it's effective.
Got you.
And it tells people exactly what's going to happen. It's called Stop BSing and Write Your Book. The step-by-step, no-stress guide for writing and publishing your book in 30 days guaranteed. And it has a hand up there like the stop, and it has Stop BSing all over the hand.
Got you.
And it's just super simple. But so yes, the book cover is extremely important. The title is important. You can use a creative title, but if you have a subtitle, you want to address what the problem that you're addressing in the book and the subtitle.
Okay. AJ?
Yo.
If anyone wanted to get a hold of you, how would they do so?
Follow me on Instagram. That's the easiest way, at AJ Joyner. That's my most active platform. If you want to write a book, you can just go, ajsfreebook.com. My team will reply to every single email. I try to answer as much as I can, but now that I'm doing a lot more stuff and I'm having a lot more leads come in, it's just not enough time in the day. So I just spent the entire day with my team yesterday putting systems in place so that we can manage the income, the input, the leads coming in rather.
Okay.
Yep. So or you can email me directly, get@anthonyjoyner.com. That's GET@AnthonyJoyner with an I.com. I, again, will reply to every single email. My thing is this: if you want to tell a story, if you want to become an expert, if you want to launch a podcast, if you want to write a book, if you want to, there's a lot of other things, but that's primarily where I focus now. But if you have something you're trying to figure out, I'm your guy, because that's what I've done forever. And I just decided to focus on books because there was such a big need in that area.
Right. No, for sure. I mean, like, one of the reasons why, other than like just the authority, thought leader, like route that I'm trying to go anyway, one of the things that I've noticed, other than being an avid reader, is that books have been around for eternity, and they have there's no sign that they're going anywhere anytime soon.
Yes.
So you're definitely in the right industry.
Yep. And again, a book is it's like a big business card, right? Because when you say, there's still something about when you say published author that gives you instant credibility. That means you've done the work to put together a small body of work that can help other people. And I'm an avid reader too. Think about it like this. Like, if you read anybody's biography, right, you get to understand all the knowledge and wisdom of whatever experience that they've had that you can get on Audible. You can listen to it in 5 hours. It's like you can get an entire university lesson for like 6 hours
Mm-hmm.
in your car.
Right.
Where else can you get that?
Yeah.
Or in a book, right? So it's like all these little mini universities when you have a book collection.
Yeah.
What do you want to learn? It's in a book.
Yeah, no, you're right. And what kind of drove me to actually be a reader too is because I remember at a very young age, when I grew up in the environment that I grew up in, they would always say
Mm-hmm.
things like, if you want to hide money, if you want to hide money from a black person, hide it in a book, you know.
Yep.
And I never realized I never thought that they were talking about money in the literal sense. I always thought that they were talking
Sure.
about like gold, you know, like gems and
Yep.
ideas and experiences. So since then, yeah, I'm almost always with a book in my hand. So I agree.
Yep.
It's where it is. That's where the knowledge is.
That's where the knowledge is, right? I'm huge on having my daughter read all the time because one of the biggest things I'm a consultant as well. The biggest advantage that I have on most people in the room is that I'm the most well-read.
Right.
So
Right.
I can make references and I can create metaphors that they can't because I've read more. And so, and the other thing is, I don't only read about entrepreneurship. I read about what's happening with the car industry, what's happening with energy, what's happening overseas, because there's a through line that you can make the connection that other people can't.
Right.
So you want to have a broad base of information to pull from.
No, for sure. For sure.
Right.
With the exception of, you today, usually if I do interview an author, I try to read their books because it just makes for a better interview, but I definitely will dive into some of your books. I'm going to go online and order them today.
No, you're good. You don't have to. You can get one for free.
Oh, well, yeah, true. That's right. You don't sell them.
Right.
That's right.
Right. No, yeah. You can get them, get it for free. Like that's literally the blueprint. Everything's in there that you need.
So again, AJ, thank you so much for coming on. Thank you for that insight that you shared mid roll. I appreciate that. And I appreciate like the time that you spent not only imparting your wisdom on us, but then also just kind of giving us the insights that we need from a marketing perspective and from a brand authority perspective. I truly, truly appreciate that. Congratulations on surviving cancer. That's amazing. And I wish you continued health and continued well-being. And for anyone listening, again, this is Nathalie. And I hope that you make use of this information because you've been asking for it. So now you have it. Get in touch with AJ if you need anything, and we'll be talking for sure.
I'm here for it.
All right. Awesome. Thank you so much for listening to the Mental Money Podcast. Please go ahead and remember to subscribe, but don't hoard all of this good information for yourself. Share this information with someone that you know could use it, especially if they need a shift in their mindset or someone who would love to have more money. So until we meet again, remember, like Uncle Snoop said, keep your mind on your money and your money on your mind.